Hey, we're going to shift gears here a little bit today, and have this little jewel here, which is an ice bucket that I found at a flea market here in East Texas. It's got these awesome atomic looking legs, and it has a teak wood veneer, which is somewhat delicate. It looks like it, as though it may have, gotten wet over the years. But it has a nice Pyrex insert, glass thermal insert. There's no markings on the bottom. I don't know who the manufacturer is. Has a nice teak handle, teak and brass handle. There's a brass lid and with a teak handle as well. A pretty cool little ice bucket. There's just a couple, maybe a few little things that it needs. The brass here, I think it's probably brass plated, but we're going to find out. We're going to clean this up a little bit. I'm going to start on the inside of this lid so that I don't ruin anything on the outside. Some of the other little brass things on the handle need some cleaning. One of the legs are riveted on with brass rivets, and one of them is missing. Someone put this big headed screw on it and a nut on the inside there. I'm going to replace that with a brass screw with a smaller head, so it won't be as obvious as that. And there are two seams in the veneer. There's a seam here, which you can't see unless you're right up on it. See that seam there? And there's a seam here, and it is bubbled up a little bit right here. Kind of coming off there a little bit. Not sure what to do about that other than to put some sort of glue, but I think it's metal behind there, so we have to use a glue that's going to adhere to that metal as well. Take my brasso. I'm going to shake the camera up along with the brasso. Brasso right there. And it's nice to leave a little patina on something if that's the way you want it to look. However, these spots on the lid I find it distracting. I don't think they add anything to to it, or if anything, they distract from it. So I don't know, I just thought it'd be nice to clean it. To see if we could get those spots, because it had a patina on it, but something got on it, water, something, and just and I cleaned it a little bit, and that's why it looks as good as it does now. I think it can look better. So. So I'm just going to clean like this for a while. Using a paper towel and some Brasso. Okay, well, I cleaned it. I don't know if there's too much glare on there for you. I cleaned it, but with the Brasso and everything, but I'm getting some very uneven results. There's a dark ring around, the outer edge and under this handle, which, by the way, the handle is riveted on. And I can't really, I have to be careful, and that underneath there. But the spots, try to clean up, but they can't. It's like there's something on here, and I think it's probably been clear coated, probably with some lacquer. So I'm going to hit it with some lacquer cleaner, see if I can maybe get that off of there, and then try cleaning it again. Alright, well, apparently I was right. There was some sort of clear coat on it. It must have been lacquer, because the lacquer thinner took it off, I guess. I didn't notice that it was doing any stripping or anything, but after I cleaned it with the lacquer thinner, I went back with the Brasso and got a whole lot more even cleaning. And so now, outside of some pits here, which I'm really not that concerned with. Mainly there were some big splotches here on the lid that were apparently where the lacquer was thin and the corrosion went through. They're faintly there, they're still faintly there, but you can't see them very well. Now, one thing I noticed, the paper towels are not the best thing to use for this. They scratch. We scratch the metal. So it looks like somebody took some steel wool at that thing or something. So I'll need to get something to polish that up with, where it looks there's just too much light on it. All I can see on the camera anyway is a bunch of glare from all the shining from the light. But while this may have removed all the patina, it looks even and clean now. You can still barely see a few splotches where the splotches were. Well, splotches, I don't know what they were, but they were apparently some deep corrosion that was in there, and the thing looks a whole lot better. The lid does anyway. And later on, I'm gonna come back and clean up some of these other parts, because I need to be very careful when I do that. I don't want to get brasso all in the veneer, and I don't want to necessarily, I don't know what's going to be involved in cleaning these the handle, with the handle pins. But I'll try and get some painter's tape or something, put around here, tape this off so that it doesn't get brasso into the wood grain. But I think actually the clean brass looks pretty good on there. And there's a band of brass around the bottom as well as around the top here. There's all the brass rivets. I'm not going to worry about those. Actually, they may look better if you can't see them, because right now with the patina on these brass rivets, you can't, it blends into the wood a little bit. Just mainly concerned with the handle of the lid and this band around it. But yeah, looks a whole lot better. Now the original price, this is the price tag that the person had on it, was $26.95. I didn't pay that. I think I talked him down to $10 or $12 on it. Highly collectible. Some people collect these ice buckets, and this one, I noticed the teak wood ones, there's all different styles. I've never seen one quite like this with these pointed legs. That's pretty cool. I saw that, I beelined straight over to it and I said, man, that is awesome. And very 60s looking, very Eames era. I don't know who designed it, I don't know what the maker is, but the only thing I know is it has a Pyrex insert. Well, anyway, that's it for today. I'll come, we'll cover the handle and all that later on. I've got some close-up still shots here of some of the work that I did on the ice bucket after I polished up the lid. I just didn't have any video of it. Here you have the screw and the nut that was in the leg there, and I just removed that nut, took the screw out. I went down to the local hardware store searching for brass screws or rivets or anything that would work. Fortunately, I found the exact hollow brass rivets that were used on all the other three legs, which was, I just couldn't believe I found them. But most of them were shiny and new, and they had this one that was patinaed. And so I got that one, fortunately, and put it in, and it was just the perfect length, and I followed what they did on the other legs. It just kind of rounded over the edge on the back side there with a punch and some light taps with a hammer. There you see, the finished rounding part. In this next picture you'll see the outside rivet head, and just really matched well with everything else. So I was happy to have been able to do that. This next shot is a close-up of the veneer where it was separating, and I was going to do something with that. I never really did, before I sold the unit. I actually sold this thing on eBay, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Here's some close-ups of the brass embellishments, the rims, the handles and knobs and so forth. These are plated items down here on the rims, and they were coated with lacquer. But I didn't want to clear off the lacquer. Those were plated parts. I could, if I tried to clean after removing the lacquer, it would have just probably taken the plating off, and I didn't want to risk that. And I also didn't want to risk getting lacquer thinner on the veneer and on the legs and so forth. So I just cleaned them lightly with some Brasso. The handles and the handle hinge pins and the hinge pin ends all cleaned up very nicely. Those hinge pin ends, by the way, they are sweat soldered on there with silver solder, brass, something. They're welded on. You can't remove them. So I just did the best I could, clean them all up. They looked really pretty nice when I got done with it. So just enjoy the rest of these pictures. They're just some close-ups and some different angles and stuff of the ice bucket. And I sold it on eBay, but I really didn't want to sell it. Didn't want to, because I made good money on the sale. I nearly tripled my money on the investment. So here it is. I could always use more friends, subscribers, and like thinkers. So if you liked the video and you enjoyed watching it, you want to see more like it, please click subscribe, and thank you very much.